Today we'll be going over both the sit stay, get your leash, and group exercise, sit and down stay. We'll start with the sit stay, get your leash. According to the AKC, the principal feature of this exercise is that the dog remains in the sit position. So basically, in order to accomplish this part of the routine, our dogs must have a solid stay command. Just like all the other exercises, you'll start standing at a designated place by the judge with your dog sitting in the heel position. Before giving you your first order, the judge will ask, "Are you ready?" Once you've confirmed that you're ready, the judge will tell you to sit your dog, even though your dog should already be sitting. You may command and or signal the dog to sit without touching either the dog or the dog's collar. The next order from the judge will be, "Leave your dog to get your leash." At this point, you can give a command and or signal to stay. I like to either repeat the sit command to the dog or say nothing at all. For some dogs, adding a signal with the command can often help. Then you will walk forward directly to the place designated by the judge for the leash. Grab the leash and then turn and face your dog. You'll then receive the order back to your dog from the judge. At this point, you'll walk directly to your dog, walking around and in back of the dog into the heel position. Once you're in the heel position and your dog hasn't moved, the judge will say exercise finished, followed by clip your leash to the collar and maintain control of your dog. At this point, you are required to exit the ring with your dog under control. This means without jumping, pulling, or tugging on the leash. Judging procedures. Prior to the start of judging, the judge will instruct the steward where to place the leash after the heel on leash and figure 8 exercise. The leash will be placed inside the ring near the gate entrance on a chair or similar leash holder. The handler and dog will be positioned at least 30 feet from and facing the direction of the gate entrance. The judge must be in position to watch the dog and handler throughout the exercise, including exiting the ring. Now let's discuss the scoring. All of the following will result in a non-qualifying score, an NQ. 1. If your dog moves a substantial distance away from the place where it was left. 2. If your dog does not remain in the sit position until you return to heel. 3. If your dog repeatedly barks or whines. The following will result in a loss of some or a considerable amount of points. The scoring starts with the first order, sit your dog. 1. If you are rough with your dog, extreme cases, the dog may be released. 2. If you receive resistance from your dog in an attempt to make them sit. Again, extreme cases, the dog may be released. 3. If your dog moves a short distance from where they were left. 4. If your dog barks or whines only once or twice. 5. If your dog changes from the sit position after you have returned to the heel position and before the judge says exercise finished. And last but not least, 6. Under miscellaneous penalties, if your dog does not remain under control as you leave the ring. Now let's cover the group exercise, sit and down stay. As defined by the AKC, the principal feature of this exercise is that the dog remains in the sitting or down position, whichever is required at the time. In order to participate in this group exercise, your dog must successfully qualify during the individual exercises. In addition, when the judge asks you if you'll be returning for the group exercise, you must confirm that you will be. If you tell the judge that you will not be returning, you will not be able to change your mind on that. This exercise will be performed on a 6-foot leash that will remain clipped to the dog's collar and in your hand throughout the entire exercise. At the start of the exercise, the judge will ask, "Are you ready?" Once everyone is ready, the judge will order, "Sit your dogs." And at that point, you will command and or signal your dog to sit without touching your dog or the collar. Next, the judge will order, "Leave your dogs." Again, you can give a command and or signal to stay. Then you will walk to the end of your leash, turn and face your dog. And make sure you don't accidentally jerk or tighten the leash during this. It's important that you maintain a loose leash throughout the entire exercise. After a minute, the judge will order, "Back to your dogs." At this point, you will return directly to your dog by walking around them into the heel position. Your dog needs to maintain the sit stay until the judge says, "Exercise finished." Again, before starting the downstay portion of this exercise, the judge will ask, "Are you ready?" Once everyone is ready, the judge will order, "Down your dogs." At this point, you will command and or signal your dog to down without touching your dog or your dog's collar. Next, the judge will order, leave your dogs. Again, you can give a command and or signal to stay, then you will walk to the end of your leash, turn and face your dog. Once again, making sure you don't accidentally jerk or tighten the leash. After a minute, the judge will order, back to your dogs. At this point, you will return directly to your dog by walking around them into the heel position. Your dog needs to maintain the down stay until the judge says, exercise finished. Then the judge will say, maintain control of your dogs, which at this point you are required to exit the ring with your dog under control. This means without jumping, pulling, or tugging on the leash. Judging procedures. If a judge observes any signs of aggression or potential problems when the dogs are being assembled outside of the ring for the group exercise, or once the dogs are brought into the ring, the judge must excuse the dog and mark the judge's book excused, and state the reason. Any handlers who physically correct their dogs before or after the group exercise or while exiting the ring must be penalized under miscellaneous penalties. Judges must stand with their full attention on the dogs and handlers during the group exercise and remain alert to any potential problems. To have both dog and handler under constant observation in this exercise, a judge should take a position slightly to the rear of the dogs at one end of the row of dogs. Now for scoring. All of the following will result in a non-qualifying score. 1. If your dog moves a substantial distance away from the place where it was left. 2. If your dog does not remain in the required position until you return to heel. 3. If your dog repeatedly barks or whines. The following will result in a loss of some or a considerable amount of points. 1. If you have to reposition your dog if it's out of position enough to interfere with an adjacent dog. In extreme cases, the dog may be released. 2. If your dog moves a short distance from where it was left. 3. If your dog barks or whines only once or twice. 4. If your dog changes positions after you have returned into the heel position and before the judge says, exercised finished. 5. If you jerk on or tighten the leash before the judge says, exercise finished. In extreme cases, the dog may receive a non-qualifying score. 6. Touching the dog or its collar while getting the dog into the sit or down position. 7. If you are rough with your dog, extreme cases, the dog may be released. 8. If you receive resistance from your dog in an attempt to make it sit or lie down. And last but not least, 9. Under miscellaneous penalties, if your dog does not remain under control as you leave the ring. Okay, now that we know the rules and the regulations for this exercise, let's quickly discuss the training we will need in order to be successful. First, we want to make sure that our dog has a strong sit and down stay with distractions. Second, we also want to work on walking around our dogs into the heel position. This is a very important part of the exercise because dogs often want to break the position as we walk around them. Third, we want to make sure that our dogs can go into the sit and down position while they're in the heel position without the help of a physical cue. This is also very important because dogs often want to swing to the sit front position where they originally learned the sit and down commands. Fourth, we want to teach our dogs to go directly into heel or loose leash exercise, loose leash walking after the stay. This will help us maintain control of our dogs as we exit the ring. All right, let's get started. First, I'm going to start working on the sit and down stay with distractions. If the dog breaks the position, I will say one wrong the moment the dog breaks, then I will calmly walk to the dog, grab the leash, and place him back into the position that was just broken. We continue to do this up until the point where we can add all kinds of different distractions and the dog maintains either the sit stay or the down stay. Yes. Good job, buddy. Wrong. even though Spock went back into the down position when I said wrong, which is good because it shows us that Spock understands that wrong means to go back into the previous position or stop what they're doing, I still went back to adjust him since he moved from his original position. Unfortunately, after watching the footage, it's clear that I didn't get him back to the exact position he broke, but it's okay, we continue to move forward with the training.
Yes, very good.
Since he held the position after I threw the bottle, which, by the way, is something that Spock really enjoys, he likes trying to bite plastic bottles, this was a very difficult distraction for him. And since he maintained it, I marked with a yes, and then I'm going to go back and reward him.
Wrong.
This is very common, and it's something I like to do when I'm working with a downstay is to squat down. The reason why this is difficult for dogs is because often when people call their dogs to them, they squat down, so the dog sees that as a physical cue for come when called. Since we're trying to work on him maintaining the position regardless of the distractions, it's good to practice this. So the moment I squatted down, he got up, I said wrong, which you can see he self-adjusted, but now I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to place him back into the original position that he had broken. Then we're going to try it again to see if he has learned and understands that he needs to maintain the position when I squat down.
Good boy. Good. Very good. Yes. Yes.
Now, as you can see, that time he did much better. He wanted to get up, but he learned from the previous training that he needs to maintain the position, and he went back down before he actually ended up making the mistake.
Excellent. Good boy. Very good. Sit. Good. Yes. Sit. Wrong.
This is a common issue as well. Often dogs are so used to going into different positions from one static position to the next, such as sit to a down, down from a sit, stand from a down. And once we give them a command, they think they have to just go into a different position. So he made the mistake, I said wrong, used a leash, cued him back into the correct position, and right back into training.
Sit.
And now we're simply going to work on the exact same types of distractions that we did while Spock was in the down, but now instead we have him in the sit stay.
Yes. Very good. Wrong. Good.
Another trick that I like to do when I'm working on going around a dog, as I step around them, I will feed them with my left hand. This keeps them distracted, but it also gets them used to a person stepping around them without having to look at them the entire time. This is very helpful considering when we do a lot of engagement training, we're teaching our dogs to maintain constant focus. So for this, they have to be okay losing sight of you for a quick second as you come around to get back into the heel position. So I'll do this over and over again just to get my dog comfortable with that movement.
Yes. Sit. Wrong. Wrong. Sit.
Also, if you notice your dog is having an issue with a specific exercise or a command that you're trying to implement, don't avoid it. Instead, work on it so you're able to make the adjustments and teach your dog what the correct action is on his or her part. Here, we noticed that he was having an issue with me saying sit as I stepped away to get him to maintain the sit position. He was assuming that he needs to go into a down. So again, I went over it multiple times to get him to understand that when I say sit and step away, he simply has to maintain the sit position.
Yes. Good boy. Sit. Very good. Yes. Yes. Sit.
Now we're going to work on the actual routine for the AKC Novice sit, stay, get your leash. Remember, before starting, the judge will ask, are you ready? Once you confirm that you're ready, the judge will tell you, sit your dog. Then the judge will tell you, leave your dog to get your leash. At that point, you will step away. You can command
Sit.
and or signal to stay, walk to where the leash is, grab it, turn and face your dog. Then you're going to wait until the judge says, back to your dog. At that point, walk directly to your dog, around them into the heel position, and the dog must maintain that sit until the judge says exercise finished, followed by clip your leash to the collar and maintain control of your dog. Then at this point, you're going to step off with your dog maintaining the heel stay.
Very good. Good job, buddy. Excellent. Down. Yes.
It's often good to give our dogs a little bit of reminder training as well. So what I'm going to do right now with Spock is I'm simply going to have him in heel position, and I'm going to work the sit and down while he maintains the heel position. At first, I'm going to use a lure. Notice that I give the command and then I lure the dog into the position. Once he's in the position, I mark and reward. I'm going to do this a few times. Then I'm going to do it with the leash pressure cue. After a couple reps of that, I'm going to ask him to do it without any help at all. Let's see how he does.
Excellent. Good. Sit. Yes. Very good, buddy. Down. Yes. Good. Sit. Yes. Very good. Down. Yes. Good. Sit. Yes. Good boy. Down. Yes. Excellent. Sit. Yes. Very good. Down. Yes. Sit. Yes. Excellent. Good job, buddy.
Now we're going to work on the actual sit and down stay as though it's being conducted in the AKC Novice. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a bunch of other dogs to help with that added distraction, but it is good to give your dog this picture and to do this training in multiple environments to help them become generalized. Remember, the judge will ask, are you ready? Once everyone is ready, the judge will tell you, sit your dogs. Once every dog is sitting, then the judge will say, leave your dogs. You will step out in front of your dog at the end of the 6-foot leash, turn and face your dog. After a minute, you will be ordered back to your dog. Remember, you have to go around your dog back into the heel position. The dog must maintain the sit until the judge says exercise finished. It's going to be the exact same process for the downstay. The judge is going to ask everyone, are you ready? Once everyone's ready, he will tell you to down your dog.
Down.
Once your dog is in the down, then the judge will tell everyone, leave your dogs. Walk straight forward in
Down.
front of your dog at the end of the 6-foot leash. Turn and face your dog. You will wait a minute until the judge says back to your dogs, which at that point you will walk around them into the heel position, and the dog must maintain the downstay until the judge says exercise finished. Then the judge will say maintain control of your dog, which at that point you are required to exit the ring with your
Heel.
dog under control. So as I said, it's good to practice going right into loose leash walking or a heel command after practicing this exercise. Thanks again for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment. If you want one-on-one help, I do offer Zoom training sessions. The information for that and any additional links will be in the description of this video. Happy training, and I'll see you next week.